But Jim, let's start with AEW Dynamite on Tuesday, October, what was it now? 10th.
The 10th, yes.
AEW Dynamite, where were they?
Forgot to pay attention to where they were.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
They were sitting firmly in a piss hole in a snowbank. And I mean, when we talk about the ratings, we will see what goes on here. But I thought it was kind of odd that they started this head-to-head, even though Christian Cage is one of the better promos, not only there, but anywhere right now. A static shot, one camera in the truck of Christian standing there doing a promo. And I wrote, why not? He can talk better than most of the wrestlers, or, most of the wrestlers on the roster. But it's a static shot of him promoting the show with none of the crew in the TV truck almost moving a muscle. And until he told them, okay, start the show, and then they jump into action. Was that kind of even though he was billboarding the big matches and promoing them, was that kind of a way to start a head-to-head, Armageddon battle?
No, and why was he in the truck? It's one thing if it's Triple H, it's one thing if it's Tony Khan, if it's someone who's involved with the production in the truck instead of just the heel standing there as the host of the show. And now let's start the show. Hit the button, Don.
Not only being humored to interrupt the goddamn activities in the broadcast truck, but calling them. Okay. So getting that out of the way, I just had to mention it. The first match, and this was an excellent choice, was Bryan Danielson against Swerve Strickland. Because I think this was the best match of both shows on that night. Just in summation, before we talk about details. Because again, it's Danielson. And he controlled Swerve's worst instincts to become an aggressive parkourist. And instead, it was wrestling, and it worked, and it didn't look completely preposterous. Except when Aubrey Ed was standing there, when they were fighting on the apron, she was just standing there, mouth agape, like they were in the ring, not counting or anything.
That's not just her, though. That's every referee in AEW.
Well, but she has a more agape mouth. Because she doesn't wear her bridle when she's refereeing, so she's all the way open with it, right? Why the long face?
So they were outside the ring, you say?
Yeah, they were over on that apron. And, and they did. Again, Danielson has matches where modern style stuff, it goes into them, but they still don't look preposterous, and it's somewhat controlled danger. And, at the same point, he's taking more risks than one would think one would with his concussion history, but he's having the safest, as contradictory as this may sound, to me, the safest modern matches, at least on his part. Swerve took a couple of risks here that you can have and still perform at this level. And Swerve, again, when he's not just cartwheeling his way into a fucking swing dance routine, he's a good wrestler. So I think the match of the night and we'll see when we dissect the ratings for whatever that's worth, has to go to Danielson and Swerve. And now I will say one thing. Later on, when they were really getting into the 2 counts and the big pops, I've knocked Aubrey Ed in the past, for trying to put the attention on herself. Like, what is she? She's some kind of thoroughbred racehorse. But apparently with these gestures now she's doing, I think she's given up racing for the Royal Lipizzan Stallions, because she's just kind of posing in different ways. But anyway, so they get to the finish, and I'll let you get your thoughts in here, Brian.
Of course, yeah.
Because I'm in one of those moods today, as you can tell. They get to the finish. They get a couple of 2 counts, big pops. And then finally, Swerve gets a 2 count, and Prince Nana flips out and draws Aubrey Ed over there. So Swerve gets the crown. Now, I never handled the crown, but I've been standing next to Nana when he was wearing the crown. I wasn't aware it would serve as brass knuckles, but apparently it seemed more like gold lame sequins in an arrangement that would fit over Nana. I love Nana. We're good friends, but I don't think his crown's brass knuckles. But nevertheless, he gets the crown, Swerve does, and he's going to do something nefarious when suddenly Hangnail Page appears at ringside and snatches it. And at that point, Swerve, with mouth agape, has his back to Danielson, and Danielson gets a roll-up on him and only gets a 2 count. And then hits him with the knee and gets the 3 count. And I loved the match. Maybe Swerve's best match I've seen him have. Great stuff. We were 21 minutes into the show, and it hadn't got boring. But if the guy turns around and is like, what the fuck? Why not just roll him up? Why get the 2 count or hit him with the knee and get the 3 count? Why do both? I didn't understand there what we were doing there. But otherwise, what are your thoughts, young Brian?
I thought it was good. I didn't think it was as great as other people did, but I thought it was really good. I have a problem with Swerve losing here. Why is Swerve losing this match?
Well, because Toni told him to.
No, but you know what I mean. He just beat Adam Page. And that was something that I thought elevated him. People got behind him. He was good in the promos. He made Adam Page look foolish in everything he did. And he was good in the match. And then they followed up with him losing the next week on TV. I think that's a mistake.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say it wasn't. But now here's the thing. Toni has said Brian's going to be the one to take over running this fucking circus when, something happens to him. And we may be closer than ever, poor thing. Bless his little pea-picking heart. So much like he wouldn't beat Pockets until Pockets ran up a victory string of about 40-something, at least with Bryan Danielson, he's an actual goddamn real wrestling star instead of the company mascot. So he'll probably never lose again.
Well, he's lost to other people. He lost to Daniel Garcia, for God's sake. So
well, but that was before. Now Toni is feeling his own mortality, apparently. He's already left young. He may adopt Brian. Toni may end the grandfather of what, Little Birdie, and what are the children's names? I can't remember. It'd been funnier if I could. But you think they're Grandpa Toni. That'll make Shad a great grandfather.
Well, I think part of the problem is if you wanted Danielson to go over, it could have been anyone else. It didn't need to be Swerve, because Swerve should only be going over right now.
But that wouldn't be a dream match to put on Titty Tuesday to tantalize the taints of all of the NXT fans to come over and watch their program. See?
I see.
Moving on, Samoa Joe, again, promo looks fantastic. We can't add anything to that. They're brief, but they're lovely. But then, what did you think of Chris Jericho versus Powerhouse Hobbs, now a member of the Don Fallis family?
It went probably a little longer than it should have, considering what the result was and how they put him over. But, I mean, Jericho put over Powerhouse Hobbs, and he didn't do it in a way that didn't make it have impact. It was the opposite. So
all that Hobbs has needed for the past 4 years was to get rid of QT Marshall and get a hold of Don Fallis. That was the magic. Now that he's in the inner circle, then he becomes a monster and a beast. And that's the only thing I can say is that the last time that Jericho started firing up, I was like, now, wait a minute. Just because of the damage that he had suffered through this whole thing. But it was all Hobbs. It was like, maybe this was Jericho's homage to Inoki, when he made the monster by Vader just beating the shit out of him. Although I think that was a little more one-sided than this was, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the way it should be done, probably. A little better than this one was. It was probably modeled. This one was probably modeled after that one, now that I think about it.
Yeah. But that's the thing is, Hobbs got on him with a spine buster in the first 30 seconds. And for the most part, except for, I think, 3 times, and it should have been twice, Jericho firing back up from underneath with, some Hail Marys, he just beat the shit out of him. I think 5 spine busters, and then, what was it? I tried to make note. No, 6 spine busters, And then a couple of those power slams that look good because he's not doing the same thing everybody else does. He's flattening out with it. And boom. I think, yeah, when Jericho got the walls, I was like, I don't know, because it's his back too. But a couple power slams and a knee on the face later, 1, 2, 3. And I think Jericho stuck to shit that he knew Hobbs could do. That's why 6 spine busters and a couple or 3 power slams, because they looked, incredible, and the guy's a beast, and it didn't get too complicated. And the whole point of the thing was not for him to show his, varying repertoire, but to be a fucking badass and smash this fucking guy. So for that, I wait a minute. For once, I'm going to give old Chris. Wait. My sound effect don't work. Wait a minute.
Good.
I'll give him.
Thank God.
I'll give him a smaller smattering of applause. Yeah. That was recorded at an FFA meeting over in Hopkinsville that my Uncle Dink attended.
I just think it went too long. I think Jericho didn't need to get as much in, considering what the result was, what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to hurt him if he didn't get the walls of Jericho.
Yeah.
That's my only, I just think for what it was, it didn't, there was some stuff that just seemed like it was there for no reason.
But then Hobbs broke the walls of Jericho and it all came tumbling down. And then he gave him another power slam.
That's right. Well, Jim, one other thing I want to say, maybe Powerhouse Hobbs coming out of that match wants to go sit back and watch that match over and over again in his chair. Maybe wants to watch it so often that he's just going to decide to lay back and go to sleep and then prop himself back up. He's going to watch it over and over and over again. And we have someone who can help him do that.
What he wants to do is he wants to study it because he's beaten one of the biggest stars in the history of the modern wrestling industry. And he wants to break down exactly how he did that. So he wants a comfortable place where he can crank back with his notepad and study that thing over and over again like a forensic scientist. But if you want a comfortable place that you can do anything, we're talking watching all these boring wrestling shows. We're talking about watching sports. We're talking about watching movies. We're talking about staring out the window and watching dogs fuck each other. It doesn't matter, ladies and gentlemen.
We're not talking about that, for the record.
Well, if it's there, what are you going to do? Go spray them with a hose?
Why do we have to talk about that now? You could be giving so many other examples. Why does your mind go there?
I'm just saying, if you're looking out your window and you're saying, boy, I'm so comfortable, chances are you are sitting in the perfect sleep chair. And these folks, they're our brand new friends. And boy, now you, Brian, and I have the perfect sleep chair in our various manors and castles.
It's nice, isn't it?
And they do everything. It's a big, comfortable, cushy recliner that is just like sitting in a bunch of pillows, but by the various contraptions and remotes and controls that this thing has, you can lay all the way back flat. You can put your feet up. You can vibrate your back. You can vibrate your seat. You can crank down into TV watching mode. It will stand you up out of this. It'll throw you right straight through the window if you wanted to. It will do everything. You do not have to move a muscle. As a matter of fact, I got the jumbo edition, where when I'm laying back there watching television, a robotic arm comes out of the right-hand side and sticks Reese cups in my mouth and then rubs my neck so I don't have to chew.
That is not a feature they offer. That is something independently that you have done from some bootleg person.
It's experimental now. They're checking it out on me.
Who's that?
The perfect sleep chair.
They are not having any involvement with your robotic arm and your peanut butter cups.
Well, you ought to see what else that robotic arm does. But folks, if you want to upgrade from your couch to first class, do it with the perfect sleep chair. It can do everything. Did I mention the heat? It'll heat you up couple of different a couple of different degrees. You can, as a matter of fact, if you're freezing this winter, turn this son of a gun all the way up, and you will be fried, dyed, and laid to the side in 30 minutes.
They should do a commercial with Austin Idol sitting in the chair. Is there heat? And then all of a sudden the heat
I can
comes
feel
on.
it. It's not scalding, but it's on my sciatica. There's an infinite number of positions from that you can adjust to, as I mentioned, to a lift position. So you can ease right out, and if you get, once you stand up, you're on your own. If you don't take over from there, you're going to fall right on your face. But they'll get you halfway. The perfect sleep chair is made by Journey Health and Lifestyle, which has been making health and home products for over 20 years. And so they know all about your home and your health. And that's why they put this in your home to help with your health. And they've got an A+ Better Business Bureau rating from all of the people. You know why? Because once the people get in the perfect sleep chair, they go to sleep. And then if they have any complaints, they're too busy snoring away to register them with the Better Business Bureau. And have you gotten the kids out of the thing yet, Brian, so you can enjoy it when you crank back and watch the, what's your team, the Nets up there, the New York Mets?
The New York Mets. I'm not a Nets fan. That's a different team. I watched the Mets. The Mets are not really playing right now. It's playoff baseball. The Mets didn't make it this year. But I have been using the chair. And in fact, I like it so much, I would be broadcasting from it if the wonderful vibration didn't make so much noise that would drive me crazy.
Well, you know, that's because then you'd have background noise. But I'll tell you, folks, if you want to vibrate, boy, this thing will rattle your teeth if you want to. You just feel those aches and pains in your muscles melt away while your brain and your mind is melting away watching the wrestling programs. The perfect sleep chair is the perfect chair to do it. A variety of color choices, I understand, fits the decor of any home. Of course, my home has no set decor. We just put things in willy-nilly. But if you want to pick one, it's up to you. Several fabrics. They've got leather. We mentioned that. As a matter of fact, the entire cattle industry has been boosted by the 100,000 perfect sleep chairs that these fine folks have sold. So if you want one this fall, or perhaps one that you won't fall out of, the perfect sleep chair, you go to Shop Journey. Journey as in the group formerly led by Steve Perry. ShopJourney.com.
Every chair you wanted.
God damn you thought of that first.
I know like 5 Journey songs, so I'm trying to rotate the word chair into every one of them.
When the lights go down in your living room and the perfect sleep chair cranks back into bed mode, you'll go to sleep and dream of San Francisco. Oh. So where you're going is shopjourney.com/JCE and use the promo code JCE at checkout for, get this, $125 off the chair or off your order, whatever you order. So $125, that's a big time deal. Shopjourney.com/JCE and check out this. I mean, a lot of people are asking now to be buried in this chair because it's a perfect send-off. You can put yourself in any position and they can just put the box that it comes in back over the top of you and then off you go.
The people who deliver the chair will take the box with them. You do not have to worry about a giant box in your living room.
Well, only if you've got a dead body you need to put in it.
No, I don't know why your mind went here in the middle of this.
Well, it's so people want to go to eternity, and this is not just some pine box you're going to be laying in. This is a place you'd want to be in for the rest of however long that may be.
Let's talk about the living, and let's talk about living and enjoying a perfect sleep chair.
Living it up, oh yeah, Friday night. Living it up on a perfect sleep chair. That's what you can do.
What's the promo code, Jim?
Shopjourney.com/JCE, promo code JCE at checkout for $125 off that fine order.
Perfect sleep chair.
And keep the box just in case. You never know when something might happen to you.
Well, Jim, back to, I guess, wake up. It's time to go back to Dynamite.
Well, all right. The Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, just for the folks who missed it, and if it would be the best thing for AEW if everyone had missed this, or at least for the talent involved. They're in the backyard of Roderick Strong's house, apparently somewhere where there is no cell service. So Adam Cole has been there for a week, and he's saying, boy, I really need to go get this surgery. Like, he's just going to show up at Walmart.
They're waiting for him.
He's going to run over to the Walmart pharmacy to get this goddamn ankle surgery. They've been waiting on him for a week or whatever. I really got to go get this surgery, Roddy. What else do you need? And so Roddy is obviously there in the wheelchair, the hospital gown, the neck brace, and Taven and Bennett standing with him. And they do a slow-mo montage to rotten music of Adam Cole in pain with his one leg on his fucking, I don't know what you call those scooters that he's ambling around because he's got the bad leg, cutting Adam Cole's lawn with the lawnmowers and the various things. And then they were inside the house playing with a stuffed giraffe. And I wrote, this may be the worst shit AEW has ever done, underlining AEW as to put emphasis on that, indicating that they've done a bunch of rotten shit. But then, and Roddy has no TVs in the house, so that's why Adam Cole can't watch his friend MJF. And by the way, MJF's going to be involved in this later on, so he's got a goddamn rope around his neck, and he better be holding on to the side of the Titanic, because this thing could drag him down too, as if he didn't have enough buzzards circling at the moment. God damn all this shit. So there's no TVs. He doesn't know what's going on in the world of Dynamite because there's no cell service, and he's just willingly, while in need of emergency surgery, cutting this motherfucker's grass. This is goddamn, and they're making funny faces at the same time. And then Roddy wants, as he goes to get his overdue, that was a word, surgery's overdue, Roddy, I gotta go. One more thing, Adam. And they go it's good that Adam Cole will be off for a while. So maybe the taste will be removed from people's mouths whenever they quit doing whatever the fuck this is supposed to be. Taven and Bennett are dead, and as I mentioned, they're trying to yank the current reigning and defending AEW World Champion off the side of the fucking ship into the goddamn shark-infested waters with them. What were your thoughts on this fiasco?
This stuff has been horrible. It's getting worse by the week. Roddy Strong went from finally showing some personality to going over the top with the silliness and the screaming of Adam. And Adam Cole doesn't come out of this looking any better. He looks like a moron, and he's acting it up in this, and it's just this bad, like, it's hard to even call it humor because there are no funny moments.
No.
I guess unless maybe you know these people. You know, and then maybe it's like,
I know pretty much all of them. No, it's not funny. It's sad. There's no reason for this. But you know, did Tony Khan see the video of Garvin and Sunshine having to wash David Von Erich's fucking dog and think I'll do something like this, but because he's not focused these days, he just left it up to somebody else. I don't know what the fuck. I don't have any idea what's going on here.
But again, I think there's a lot of problems overall with AEW. I mean, a ton of problems. I mean, as we are recording right now, people are sending me Tony's latest tweets. We'll talk about them later. There's a lot of problems with the TV show. These skits, every now and then when one has popped up, people have been forgiving, but they've almost always been bad. Jericho in the Inner Circle in Las Vegas. Like all these skits, but now it's a regular recurring thing, possibly to keep Adam on the show, possibly so talent get to do things they enjoy doing during the day. I really don't know why these are getting on the show, but they're bad. And I think the more they keep relying on this kind of shit, the more they're turning off their fans.
And as a company, they're spending money to make their show look bad and their talent look like idiots. Because I don't care if the talent wants to do it or not. Oh, let's go over to Roddy's house and shoot a video. There are obviously people there to set up the fucking audio, to make sure the lighting can even be aired. There's a crew. Then they got to go and edit it. And that takes up time in the fucking edit bay and whatever the fuck. They're paying something for this. This is not just free shit they're shooting on their phone.
I mean, someone sat there and said, hey, what should we do? How about we have it so that, like, Adam does whatever Roddy wants, and Roddy has people there, but they don't help him, but Adam does. And, like, he can make him do the lawn stuff, and Adam, he keeps wanting to go to surgery. Like, it sounds awful as I'm saying it out loud. It just sounds terrible, and that's what they're doing. They're doing terrible shit in these segments. Terrible.
And later on, MJF is going to be the spurned paramour here later on. Can't wait for that in the program. Boy, I can't wait when we dissect these quarter hours. And it was at that point that the breaking news came in that the plumber has not been cleared. Apparently, he did not pass his bar exam for plumbers. He wasn't medically cleared because the guy that wasn't supposed to win the title from him but did and dropped him on his head and gave him a concussion 2 weeks ago, he still can't wrestle. So now, the aforementioned guy who dropped the guy on his head will defend the title that he wasn't supposed to win against the trained chimpanzee that the plumber beat for the belt to begin with.
People think in order for him to win it back from him. That the whole idea of Moxley winning the belt from Orange Cassidy was for Orange Cassidy to get over more by winning it back from Moxley. That wasn't the end of Orange Cassidy.
What?
Yeah.
No, I thought the idea was to put the belt on Moxley to start making it actually legitimate in some description, because at least Moxley was a main event fucking name wrestler, and that's where it would stay. And then when idiot Felix dropped him on his head, and then they had another 10-minute match, and then Moxley said, oh, goddamn, just beat me. I figured that because they booked this rematch, they would put it back on the plumber, because that's where it was still supposed to be to begin with.
Right. I think with him eventually dropping it back to Orange Cassidy.
What? Are you out of your fucking mind? They were going to do that? Why the fuck would anybody do that? Because, I mean, for the kind of people who like the plumber, that's the kind of thing those people like. Why would you ever have him do a job to the fucking mascot?
Why are you waiting to the last minute they were still announcing that match. I mean, for days in advance, obviously, but up to the show, into the show. Why? I mean, you didn't know he wasn't going to be cleared? I guess
Doc Samson went back there and dangled a pocket watch back and forth in front of his eyes, or gave him a breathalyzer. I don't know how they fucking test people to see if they're medically cleared from being dropped on their head by a fucking idiot.
All right, you seemed good yesterday. How you doing today?
Yeah. Are you doing even? Where are we at right now? Just, if you can narrow it down to the fucking county, we're okay.
Cincinnati.
There you close enough. You left there this morning. So, but basically what they did was they then booked, as I said, they've gone round the ring around the rosy with this thing. And so Pockets takes the place of Plumber against Felix. And obviously, they started the program with Bryan Danielson versus Swerve Strickland and I never used the word great. I don't know if it was an all-time classic, but I think it was the best match given the most time and most professionally orchestrated amongst the programs of the night. But they start with them, and 30 minutes later, it's a chimpanzee against a Mexican made entirely out of potatoes. They've gone full outlaw against the biggest stars in the goddamn industry on the other channel. So, I didn't watch this, but as I was fast forwarding, Brian, did you see the greatest spot of all time? Because it was one of those deals even on fast forward, you go, wait a minute, hold on. What the fuck did they just do?
No, I didn't watch any of this match.
Okay, well, I'm going to describe the greatest spot. I watched it in slow motion 15 times. It was one of the, you know how you get the ones where you just can't stop, right? Seeing it. So Felix has rocked Pockets with something, and Pockets is staggered over next to the ropes. He's leaning kind of next to the ropes, and he's staggering, he's woozy. So Felix jumps up on a top rope on the turnbuckle, and he's going to do the thing where he runs the tightrope walk. He runs down the top rope and apparently going to just soccer kick Pockets in the head, right? Well, he jumps up on the top rope, and old Pockets is standing there, and he can see him coming out of the corner of his eye. So when Felix runs down the top rope, he throws his right foot to kick Pockets in the head. Well, Pockets apparently either has had a bad experience with that in the past or mistimed something or whatever, because not only did he put his right arm up like he was going to, just have that protection in front of his face to block it, but also he just finally at the last second said, fuck this, and ducked away from it, just like turned like, I don't want none of that. And fucking Felix, his kick went completely over fucking Pockets' head, because Pockets is already like selling it like, oh my God, I've just got hit. And he's turned away. And so Felix swings and hits nothing and loses his balance and is coming off the top rope into the ring. And with his left knee drives it into the back of Pockets' fucking head and neck, boom, on the way down, and drives him into the goddamn mat. And they both fell in a fucking heap. And the kick missed his head by like 2 fucking feet. And but the knee didn't. I was convinced that may have given him brain damage. If you still have that on your DVR, go back and watch that unfold. It's fascinating. And then Pockets won the belt back. Thank you for coming, Felix. So now they're back where they started from, except that one of their top guys has brain damage. In 4 weeks, they are back where they fucking started from, except one of their fucking top talents still has lingering brain damage.
Well, I didn't watch it, so I can't add too much. I am pulling it up right now on my computer so I can see the spot.
It was just within a minute or so of the bell.
Okay, he's on the rope now with the belt. Hold on, fast forward 30 seconds. They are chopping each other. Felix with a chop. OC with a forearm. They're going back and forth. These look like pillows. Oh, wow, Orange Cassidy's really laying in nothing. So he lays in nothing, and the other guy just, there's a pretty nice firm clothesline from Felix, Mexican wrestling star. There is a bunch of mat work he's selling his back. And Orange Cassidy is going to use that to throw him into the ropes. He turns around, and I don't know what kind of miscommunication happened there. He's on the rope. Oh, yeah, wow. What the fuck was that? What was that? Hold on, I got to rewind it. What just happened there?
He was throwing that kick, and Pockets said, fuck it. I'm going to sell it before it gets here and get the fuck out of the way.
No, but even right before it was like there was some kind of issues.
Oh, well, yeah, before that, they didn't know what they were doing either, but this one was...
Here we go. He's doing it again. He goes to the rope. He's running. He's going to go do the kick. He also does a 360 Orange Cassidy as he goes down.
Yes, because, partially he was being driven by the knee in the back of his head.
All right. I like it. You know what? I'll watch Rey Phoenix's matches every week if he's just going to be out there doing shoot moves.
And of course, in this one, Pockets somehow emerged unscathed. Okay, Timeless Toni Storm. Loved the promo. But they just did a backstage promo where she said, I've done my new latest film. It's a short film and it's silent. And they played it in picture, which apparently was just her getting up off of and sitting back down on furniture. So that...
Yeah, I can't add too much to it. That's exactly what it was. It was, in a way, it was the perfect use of picture-in-picture because no one wants to watch the wrestling in picture-in-picture. So
but would you have done something? Wouldn't there have been something where she tried to throw the pie in someone's face or a takeoff of a classic silent movie scene?
No, she's losing her mind. She's just filming herself by herself.
Okay, then she could fucking...
in a silent film.
Then do something in your silent film. She just sat on the fucking couch.
So are we supposed to believe the character Toni Storm went to the production truck where obviously anyone can get in there, Christian's in there, and said, when I come out there, I want you to make everything black and white?
Yes.
Because otherwise everyone's playing along with this woman who's clearly losing her mind. That seems kind of cruel.
I mean, but honestly, I don't mind that because at least for some effort at production, entrance, entertainment value on this program, I'll take the black and white. Is it, Gold Dust doing the cinematic entrance with the glitter and the blah, blah, blah. But I want to see something. If it's going to be a silent film, she needs to think she's doing something. She wasn't doing nothing there.
With that said, it was the best use of picture-in-picture they've ever had.
Which, again, is like being the nicest guy in prison.
That's right.
So, speaking of the nicest guy in prison, you'll never guess who came out and power-bombed Matt Sydal 5 times and the referee stopped it. And then he left through the crowd.
Powerhouse Hobbs.
Wardlow.
That's right.
Okay, so was this a brand new part of the program, or was this a VTR from 2020? Or 2021?
Or last week. Remember, he returned last week. Who did he beat last week? Griff Garrison. And he did the same thing, and then he went through the crowd, and now it's Matt Sydal, and now they're trying to, again, with Powerhouse Hobbs, and seemingly with Wardlow, it's probably too late, or possibly too late, who knows, but they're trying, it seems, to, like the Dallas episode where Bobby Ewing was in the shower, like, ignore everything else that happened. This is the way we should have done it from the beginning.
But at least it was only one season with Dallas. This has been like 2. He's doing the same thing he was doing 3 years ago. And they are admitting, yeah, well, that's the only time that people liked him. Because then we botched him up and we had him wearing ridiculous fucking clothing and fighting the security guards. And then we just make him go away and people wonder where he's at. And then he comes back and does something else goofy. And now, so we'll just have him do the same thing that we had him doing 3 years ago. Can he not sue them for malpractice and get out of his fucking contract?
It is good, though, that this week he didn't just walk through the crowd back to where the podium was. At least this time they had him go the opposite way, which is kind of where Moxley comes out of.
Well, yeah, and one of these days they're going to cross paths over who gets the handicap parking spot, and then we're going to see some fireworks. But again, I'm not saying that it's not Wardlow's fault. It's just this is the only thing that they've been able to figure out what to do with him. So now they're doing it again. Okie dokie. Should we talk about Hangnail and Jay White?
Well, there was a Jericho backstage thing where...
Oh, that's right, that's right. He was selling his neck. He was so hurt he couldn't get all the way to the trainer's office. And then Cool Hand Luke was going to check on him, but Daddy Mac said, fuck him.
No, it was Daniel Garcia who was checking on him, and he was concerned for him, but then one of the 2.0 guys was mad about that.
That was Daddy Mac. Yeah, Cool Hand Luke and Daniel Garcia look like each other, don't they?
No.
Well, then I just don't remember what either one of them really looks like. Well, basically, Jericho is friendless. It's what we've been led to believe here. He's friendless.
Well, some of the younger guys want to be his friends still. I guess that's the thing. Sammy turned on him, but Daniel Garcia now feels bad and, he wants to dance with him. I don't know what, but that was the Jericho segment.
I want to dance with somebody. Well, anyway, now we're going to talk about who's going to dance with Hangnail. Jay White. Why did the other heels in the gang bang bang gang bang gang
Bang Bang Gang.
bang bang gang? Why did they come out on tricycles?
I do not have an explanation. I don't know.
Has there been anything mentioned in the programming as to why that the top heel group, apparently, from what we're being led to believe here by the booking, come out riding tricycles?
The only previous mention I could think of with tricycles in wrestling was that week you mentioned them on The Experience, talking about the children's parking area at the hospital, that there'd be tricycles up there.
Well, but that was in a completely different context.
Maybe it inspired these guys.
But now, were these some kind of cool new, hip, modern modes of transportation that the young kids are doing? And I just don't know it. Or was that actual kids' tricycles?
They certainly weren't kids' tricycles, I don't think. And, the Guns and Juice Robinson aren't exactly young. I don't know if I would say this is what the young kids are doing on these things. I think that they thought this would be something cool to do. I can't explain it to you.
All right, well.
It's like a gang of children behind Jay White, who's the size of a child.
Well, they started this match. Jay White showed him the belt and then slapped him and bailed out to the floor. And then they tied up and Jay White slapped him and bailed out to the floor. And then Hangnail did a dive and they fought on the floor and went to the break. Okay, they came back right at the 9 o'clock hour. So this apparently, Hangnail Page and Jay White is what they envisioned as big stars in their company that would garner a viewership at 9 o'clock. And again, they're having a fucking match. I don't... Page has no oomph. I'm not thrilled with Jay White as a single. And at one point, Jay White gave Page the knee breaker on the apron like Flair used to do on his knee to set up for the figure four. And that looked like it could have really fucked his fucking knee up. And they went through 2 breaks on this thing. It just went so long. They had to do the stuff where they fight on top gingerly with each other, helping each other execute the move, the flip off the top together. Page did his blind moonsault where he climbs up to the top and flips backwards off and doesn't even check to see if the guy's still standing there. And I wrote it, White does shit to White. This will not end. And then Page had been selling his leg in between times where he wasn't. And finally, he bobbled on a buckshot, but hit the dead eye, got a 2 count. And the heels drew the referee, and Nana distracted Page, and White schoolboyed him. 1, 2, 3. And I thought, okay, at least thank God this is over. But it wasn't. Because then suddenly, Page gets to chase Prince Nana off, but the Bullet Club Gold is still in the ring, and MJF's music plays. Before we go any further, any final comments on Page and
I can't add too much more. Page is just cold as ice right now. The elite fans still pop for him, but, this guy walking out there like he has shit in his pants. He's a former world champion. And he really doesn't mean that much on this show. And Jay White, they've been trying to do something with him. We'll see if it works here. There are people that were really anticipating this match. I didn't think it was that special.
Well, but unfortunately, as I said, the whole thing wasn't over there. MJF came out. The bangers are in the ring. And now MJF is obviously pissed off at Jay White and wants his belt back. The big blueberry belt that MJF owns, but Jay White has stolen.
Burberry. Not blueberry.
What now?
You said blueberry. It's not blueberry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do apologize for the big blackberry belt. So, anyway, Brian, we're not the only ones that have been knocking and talking about these long Bullet Club segments, Jay White droning on and on. So they do more of them. And now he's blown up from the match. Now he's got to start the promo on his knees, but he's got all of his guys in the ring with him. And he won't get to the point. At one point, he told the fans to shush, but not even like Gable shush, but just shush. Like that's a thing he says in real life. And the fans responded, shut the fuck up. And MJF cut a promo to try to get Jay White over as a heel, and how that MJF is trying to be a better man and earn the fans' respect. And he got fired up because, again, you can tell when he starts trying too hard when people aren't with the other guy or against the other guy or interested in the other guy, I should say. And he started getting bleeped. But it was too much praising about how great Jay White was to try to make him legitimate when that's not MJF's gimmick. He shouldn't be saying good things about people. That's what got him over to begin with, was not saying good things about people. And again, this went back and forth. So like the whiny, high-pitched British fucking squeal that Jay White has, and somehow they laid out a stipulation where Jay White said that MJF could win it from him on November 18th, the belt, if he wants it, or take it from him tonight with all four of them, or find 3 partners that can tolerate him because MJF has no friends. So I think he said if they win an 8-man tag, he can have the belt back. Did you get that?
Kind of, yeah.
But it wasn't clear.
No, Jay White has not been clear on the mic, and I know there's people who think he's really good because of the press conferences he does after the New Japan shows, but like the time where him and MJF went back and forth, and I have to say this, I apologize for any noise behind me. Someone's going to say, oh, we don't hear anything. The neighbors' gardeners are here. I swear to God, they have helicopters. So if you don't hear it, it's your problem. Back to Jay White. The MJF thing with him, everything was like, I am the best, I am. Like, he doesn't say anything. He's just like throwing out phrases about himself. There's nothing being done to establish him. I mean, I think most people would think Juice Robinson was the leader of Bullet Club Gold if they weren't told it was Jay White.
Well, and there's the problem. The Bang Bang Gang may need a new leader, because then it was left to Juice to create the controversy. And for those of you who have been living under a rock, because I guess this got picked up by mainstream news outlets, as they say, Juice then, while MJF is in the entranceway and all the heels are in the ring, Juice pulls out a roll of quarters as a present for MJF, because next week they're going to be in a battle royal for a shot at the fucking diamond ring, the chased cat that ate the rat. And now he's telling him he's got a roll of quarters with his name on them, MJF's name on them, and he's going to use that to knock him out and win the... And he actually shows on lingering close-up a roll of quarters with Friedman written on them in black Sharpie. And at that, MJF loses his mind and gets bleeped again, and there's going to be an issue with language, because you can tell now the network is trying. Over in WWE land, they're bleeping shit from the crowd. And they do it well. But over here, they're saying fuck all the time. And they're trying to bleep it, and they're not always doing it.
It is basic cable, though, as compared to SmackDown on Fox.
Well, but if the network wanted it, they wouldn't be trying to bleep it, would they?
No.
Okay. So anyway, MJF left, and Jay White was still fucking talking. But the whole bone of contention amongst everybody that saw this, and how could you not think of this, is the connotation. Yes, it ties in with MJF's storyline, where he was bullied and people threw quarters at him, that he's told on television. But as Abdullah the Butcher used to say, timing is everything. And they just happened to pick the week that these fucking lunatics over there started a goddamn war. And are killing people.
The lunatics being
way.
The lunatics being Hamas.
Hamas, yes. They're the only ones that have goddamn bombed and beheaded and shot and kidnapped people in the last week, aren't they? Have I missed something else going on?
No, but you got to clarify who the bad guys are, I think, on this.
No, you don't. No, you don't in this case. I don't give a shit. You don't have to clarify shit. The people who kidnap babies, behead people, and bomb civilians and orphanages are pretty much the fucking bad guys. Is this an argument?
No, I don't think it's an argument. But if you don't actually say that, if you just say that, people are going to jump to the assumption that you're being vague on this.
I'm not being vague on anything. Fuck these fucking people. Hamas. And anybody who fucking is on the goddamn side, how can you be on this side? You fucking lunatics. If you're on that side, you should be ashamed of that side and switch sides. So, but the point being, they Muhammad Hassan'd the issue here. I had Mark Magnus, an Italian-American young man with a great body and a wonderful worker and a tremendous attitude from upstate New York. But boy, he had a wonderfully dark skin and very clear as well. I'm sure he used treatments. And they decided to make him a fucking Arab terrorist. Muhammad Hassan. And as everybody will recall, this was almost 20 years ago, or may have been 20 years ago, but they have him try to behead the Undertaker with piano wire the same week that some of these real goddamn terrorists tried to behead people with piano wire. Am I correct in this?
I forget what exact thing was happening in the news that week. I'm pretty sure
it was some beheading.
It was something like that.
Piano wire.
It was a beheading, or it was something like that. Yeah.
It still remains. It was the first, and to my knowledge, the only time that a network canceled a fucking wrestler's career. When Fox, it was on SmackDown, and Fox said no more of him ever. And that was that and thankfully, because he was a smart kid, for years he's been a teacher and a fucking administrative school person and well thought of in his community up there in New York, and actually associates with normal, nice people instead of these fucking lunatics in the wrestling business. But nevertheless, you weren't going to have any other response but a backlash because of the timing of this happening, and obviously because of the one-dimensional presentation. And I was talking to you earlier about this, actually off the air. We actually spoke off the air for once. I said, if Juice Robinson was not only known for using a roll of quarters to knock people out with, because that's an old wrestling trick, regardless of what religion or ethnicity you are, it is a loaded punch. That's been going on for 100 years. The gangster movies used to do it in the 30s. If he had done that and it had been clearly established as something that this guy would do, and then instead of pulling it out and showing it with his name written on it, if in the course of a physical angle of some description, Juice Robinson had knocked MJF out with the roll of quarters so that Jay White could then stand over him and once again taunt him, well, then you would have something that wouldn't just basically rub people's nose in the fact that you're trying to be goddamn edgy. Because I always said, heels have to be able to offend people to be heels, but not in this timing.
Yeah, you couldn't use the quarters at all right now, because MJF introduced the quarters into this lexicon of AEW with the anti-Semitic story, the story being bullied. He's told it a couple times. So any usage of the quarters here, no matter what it was going to take everyone back to that.
Oh, it was good, but at least you would have some plausible deniability on the part of, like, when the Freebirds, when Watt said, well, they said the Freebirds said they didn't mean to put the hair cream in JYD's eyes.
Yeah, but
He's been
I don't
hitting
even think
everybody with quarters. If he hit him with quarters,
I think if AEW did I think AEW, just like they saw the backlash with this, anything with the quarters would have gotten the backlash. This was especially bad because, like you said, the roll of quarters didn't even say MJF. Friedman.
it's a Friedman.
Who's ever called him Friedman on that show? No
Nobody.
one.
Except when illustrating his full name.
Right. Apparently, Juice Robinson has been using the roll of quarters for years. Now, you wouldn't know that if you watch AEW
In AEW?
TV. That's my point. So anyone who's saying, well, this clearly is just tying back not to MJF's thing, but to Juice's thing. How would anyone watching this show know that? The only thing you know is MJF's quarter story. No one else is talking about fucking quarters in wrestling.
The point is, it was one dimensional. It was obvious what they were doing. It was in bad taste because of the timing. Because of people actually getting killed, and nobody along that chain of command thought, maybe the quarters is too much.
That's the problem, because even if you want to argue that MJF clearly is behind this because the quarter story's his, I don't think someone like that in his position would be doing something like this if it wasn't something he was behind or something he came up with or something he had played with. But he doesn't write the show, and he doesn't produce the show. And there are producers, and there are agents, and there's Tony Khan, and Juice Robinson.
Just because you go to the producer or the writer or whatever and say, hey, how about if I bring a goddamn porcupine out to the ring and attempt to stuff it up my ass?
No, someone there should have known, even if MJF wanted to do this, that you cannot do this. This is going to backfire. I think any logical person would have thought that. And they did it. And look, we'll talk a little bit more about this, but the other unfortunate thing is, by doing this, you take someone like Juice Robinson, who has showed a world of potential, who has more personality and charisma than most people on your roster, and you're still getting him established. You're now painting him as an anti-Semite.
Yeah.
Because there's no way he wouldn't know this. He wrote Friedman, not MJF. An overtly Jewish last name he wrote on there. It ties into the quarter story. So now he's doing the same thing the anti-Semitic bullies did to MJF. He's not throwing him at him. He's taunting him with the quarters. You've painted Juice Robinson as an anti-Semite. Are the rest of the Bullet Club Gold anti-Semites? Did no one realize that's what this would be?
Right, and now, but also here's the thing, and I have been obviously in various training programs and promotions with young talent, and they all want to get over, and they all are hungry, and they all usually, many of them, have the best intentions about major things like that. But you can also, one person pitches something, and the other person who wants to get over too says, oh, but I could do that. And it grows, and it is up to the final authority, someone in charge, to say, no, we're not going to do that on television because of the network, because of the sponsors, because of taste, because of safety, because of the booking I planned, because of whatever reason. But there is nobody there to do that. And as a result, everybody looks like shit because now you can't blame the heel anymore. It used to, when people believed shit for the most part, if a heel said something too far on television, a promoter could say, well, yeah, that son of a gun, I'm firing him. And off he went. But the promoter didn't get the heat. Now everybody gets the heat because they know that they think that somebody's supposed to be in charge of this stuff. They don't really know there is nobody. But it goes on, the heat goes on everybody. And
yeah,
again, what would have been the response in the production meeting if somebody had blurted out, well, if it was Swerve out there, I'm going to bring out a watermelon with Swerve written on it? What would have been the reaction?
No, it wouldn't have been Swerve doing it. It would have been someone taunting Swerve with it.
Well, whatever the fuck, I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, someone should have put their foot... I mean, look, the problem is with doing this in any way right now, there's a lot going on in the world. And every Jewish person, I'm assuming every Jewish wrestling fan that's thoughtful, is going through a lot. I mean, you turn on the news, it's your worst nightmare. And there's a harsh reality that we grow up with, and that's the fact that from the moment we're born, there are people who want us to die because we're Jewish. It's that simple. It's not about land. It's not about anything else. You're Jewish. You should die. There are people out there who believe that shit. So we're all going through all this stuff this week. And then they do this on AEW TV. This is our escape from all this stuff. Despite some of us hate watching it or laughing at it or mocking the people behind it, what these shows are really supposed to be, what any sport is supposed to be, or entertainment, is an escape. Not to rub your face in it. And MJF is, I think you could say in a lot of ways, a hero to Jewish wrestling fans, because look at everything he's achieved. Beyond the young age and everything, he's a Jewish kid from Long Island, who's what, 5'10", maybe? Look at what he's achieved on talent. So we want to get behind him, and we do. But when you see something like this, it breaks your heart, because it's using the anti-Semitism and the bad feeling we have to try to further this program of all programs. It doesn't make me hate the heel. It makes me hate the show. It doesn't make me want to see a match. It makes me want to turn the channel. And I'm the Jewish fan. I think a lot of Jewish fans felt that way. And that's the problem. It backfired even in that way. I don't think there were Jewish fans behind MJF like, yeah, go get him. No, we groaned. We said, why are you doing this? And, it was, I put it on Twitter. It was disgraceful. It was one of the worst things AEW, maybe the worst thing AEW has ever done on their show. And there are people who say, it's bad no matter when you do it. It is. But especially the timing this week. I mean, as we are recording right now, friends of ours from the New York City Police Department who are high up have given us updates here about what's going on in the city. What police precincts are being mobilized because of threats. It's like that.
Who's doing what in New York?
Well, Hamas called for an international day of jihad. And because of that, the New York City Police Department, which is almost like a military.
Are these Hamas motherfuckers in New York City?
They have sympathizers everywhere. That's the frustrating thing.
What the fuck?
There's no comparison. There's false equivalencies. These people are subhuman, and they want to kill Jewish people. It's not about land or anything else. It's about killing Jewish people. And like I said, in the midst of all this, AEW or WWE or anything else, that should be our escape. No one wants the harsh realities of this kind of hatred thrown in their face on a wrestling show. Not in 2023, and not in this way. And no one, from the people in the ring to MJF to Tony Khan to the producer. Tony Khan's been really active on Twitter. No apologies for this. I think no one comes out of this looking okay. And even if it's the world champion, and even if Tony Khan's behind the world champion, I would hope that one of the people who are producers or whatever would still be able to say, guys, this is a bad idea. Please don't do it. Because I think brief thought about this whole thing would have told anyone that this is a really, really bad idea. And let's see, how they deal with it from here. But it was really, really a bad idea. It was really bad.
Well, and MJF wasn't done tarnishing his reputation. They had a brief intermission while, Hikaru Shida beat Saraya for the women's title. So that was good Lord. I guess she didn't change the game, so they changed the belt.
And meanwhile, if you watch her in the ring, it's almost like she's going backwards now. You thought, like, okay, she gets back in the ring, she'll start getting, the flow of things again. It's the opposite. She can't work with the modern women, it seems like, in wrestling. I don't know what the problem is, but in the ring, Saraya doesn't have it at all anymore.
Well, I hate that. But moving onward, because then we were back to MJF with Renee Moxley Good. And now he was not in the mood to be interviewed because he was, pissed off and upset, and he needed to call his boy for advice. and he calls Adam Cole. And Adam answers this time. He's, where have you been? And you hear Adam say, I'm so sorry. Roddy still needs my help. And as MJF said, he needs your help. I've got this and that and the other thing going on. And Cole has shitty cell service and the phone or the call cuts off. And then the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn walk in and offer to be his partners in whatever this 8-man showdown is going to be. And then, or at least Caster does, hey, we can be your partners. But when MJF leaves, Billy Gunn castigates Caster for offering their services. And Caster, well, but he's my friend. Suddenly it's gone from the worst, roast comedy taste to Saved by the Bell with the same fucking guy in it. Now this is for 12-year-olds. What's going on here?
Again, I don't know, and I'm going to treat this separate than the previous segment, but I'm going to treat this like the one last week. Remember, MJF was in the locker room suffering the effects of the beatdown from Bullet Club Gold?
Yeah, he got the unauthorized neck rub from Mr. Caster.
He acted freaked out. Caster acted like there was nothing wrong. Again, puzzling some of the things that get on this show. And now he wants to be friends with MJF, so I assume we're going to eventually get, like I think I said before, MJF and the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn versus Bullet Club Gold, and then eventually maybe Roddy and the Kingdom and whoever they got.
Oh, boy. All right, well, the main event that we have all been waiting for, everyone except the viewers of national television, and I hate that. I like most of the people involved in this, but my God, after this program, the Edge, Adam Copeland wrestling debut on the show against Dino Douche there, but Christian Cage is obviously part of this whole thing, and they sent Christian out to do, again, a nice in-ring promo about all of the, the things that he's involved in, talking about being Nick Wayne and the Lizard's father instead of their leader, and he referred to Edge not wanting to get back together when Christian was getting buried and Edge was getting pushed. But now that Christian is at the heights of his career and Edge is on the downward slope, you need me. Like a bird needs a tree, like a flower needs a bee, you need me. So anyway,
and by the way, apparently this ties back to the promo Edge did 10 years ago, maybe more, in WWE, where Christian was trying to be friends with him and Edge acted like a dick and turned on him or walked out on him. So they're tying back to something that was done in another company over 10 years ago that they can't completely reference. So it's hard to tie it all together.
But they can allude to it.
Yes.
There's a lot of illusion here. And then basically Christian tells Beth Phoenix, who is Edge's marital partner, to put the clean sheets on the bed because the kid's new father is coming home. And then, boy, Edge hits the ring and immediately Christian bails and Edge has got a face off with the Lizard. And Nick Wayne grabs Edge's leg from behind and trips him. Every time I say Edge, just insert Adam Copeland. It's just my shorthand. And pretty much Dino comes from behind with the clothesline and not wallops Edge, and the referee comes in to check him, and they do the deal where he gets up very slowly until he gets the people behind him. Finally, the fans get with it, and then the referee rings the bell, and the match is on. And I've got to say, we had a bet. I said he'll probably whiff a bunch of shit trying to take care of Edge, and I think you said he'll probably knock him out.
Kick him in the head, I think I said.
Kick him in the head. I don't know that he really did either. Does anybody, do we owe each other any money? I didn't see collecting on my part.
I think we're square.
I think we're square, but it was safe and slow and deliberate heat on Edge, and Edge, again, as a pro, sells great and fights back from underneath. And then they still had to do some business with setting the stairs by the ring and trying to choke slam on the stairs and all that stuff. but finally, the story in summation was that Dino was more physically dominant, but Edge is more resourceful and etc. And they had a decent match. And again, the Lizard can be led somewhat. And he was under control without doing any of the stupid where he just turns his back on people and starts backflipping or whatever. But then finally, Christian, and by the way, they had a 10-minute overrun, which was not only aired, but also scheduled. That was what the DVR was set for, 2 hours and 10 minutes. So Christian draws the referee. Nick Wayne puts the chair in the corner. Edge goes for a spear. Dino moves. Edge hits the spear. Choke slam, 2 count. Holy shit. It goes on. And then there was a double kick, and both of them went down, and it was 10-10, and my DVR froze again. I recorded that. They had a 10-minute overrun. They still couldn't get it in. What happened?
Oh, I don't remember past that point. I was really unimpressed with the whole thing, to be honest with you. Adam Copeland's just another guy in AEW now.
Well, he is that because of the whole presentation of the thing, but I mean, anybody that can make me not write down 25 pages of notes on how bad the Lizard is had to do a pretty good job of leading him through an acceptable contest. But I assume he won. But you can't assume.
I think he did. I mean, I thought you knew that part when you asked me what happened. I believe he won the match.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad to see he did that.
But he may have been a little beat up after the match. He may have wanted to lay down, and his body may have been sore. Not covered in sores, but a sore body.
A sore body, which is not, as you said, covered in sores, but just aches in a variety of places.
That's what I mean, yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Well, and I'll tell you what, normally the solution to something like that over there in AEW is to have Max Caster slink in behind you and start rubbing your various appendages without you knowing he's there. But in this case,
it's not folks, the solution, ladies and
that's not the solution for anything, no, because in this case, folks, if you have a problem with pain, physical pain after exercise or activity, or if you need more calm, you have stress and anxiety, or you need better sleep, well, it can all be addressed with the products that are proffered by our friends at CBD Distilleries, because the benefits of CBD cannot be overstated.
CBD Distillery.
Well, the benefits of CBD.
No, but you said CBD Distilleries, as if there were multiple distilleries all over the place.
Well, they're getting bigger.
But it's supposed to be one
out.
But it's part of one unified distillery.
It's a unified distillery. Now, don't talk about antitrust issues here.
No, I wasn't. No.
CB Distillery is the place you can go, even if they have more than one outlet. It's a central website, cbdistillery.com, so we can all be right here. But the thing is, the CBD is what we're talking about, and the benefits of same. From the 100% clean ingredients, no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives in the fine products here. And once again, 90% of customers report better sleep with CBD. 81% says CBD helps with stress and anxiety. 80% report less pain after physical activity. And 3% of the residents of New Jersey report not wanting to murder their internet service provider after taking the products from CB Distillery.
That's not a proven statistic.
Well, some people are outliers. But if you're frustrated with a health concern that's not getting better, folks, try CBD. Because if it doesn't make your health better, at least you'll be in such a good mood you won't give a shit. And right now, thanks to the incredible full range of carefully formulated CBD and other plant-based solutions contained on the fine website, cbdistillery.com, you can join the over 2 million satisfied customers and 47 of them that are high as giraffe pussy, and jump on right now to cbdistillery.com and enter the code JCE for a 20% discount. That's going to get you started right. You don't need a prescription. You don't have to spend any money on bribing doctors or medical professionals or go into business for yourself on forging anything. There's no prescription required. Go to cbdistillery.com, use the promo code JCE. You're going to get 20% off your entire order there of all these fine products that'll help you enjoy better focus and concentration, less pain, more calm, more sleep, less misery. It'll even help you make money.
Well, it doesn't do that. Don't say that.
Well, it does, because if you focus and concentrate more and you're calmer and address things in a reasonable manner, you'll be more successful in life and you'll make money.
You can't guarantee that. I know plenty of focused, calm people that are broke.
Well, you can't guarantee tomorrow either, but you might as well give it a try at cbdistillery.com, promo code JCE for 20% off.